she has removed from her grid the post she was tagged in where she supported Blake Lively back in December. Hi and welcome to Flows and Talk. I'm Kersti Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood and working as an entertainment reporter. Someone sent me an email telling me that to look into America Ferrera's Instagram. And guess what? She has removed from her grid the post she was tagged in where she supported Blake Lively back in December. It's still on her other Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants Instagram, Amber Tamblyn. You can see how she hasn't removed the post itself from Instagram, but she removed it from her grid. So if you go in to her Instagram, you won't be able to see it. You can only see it if you follow the link. What does this mean? Well, I think it means that America Ferrera is no longer supporting Blake Lively. Why else would she remove it from her grid? For now, Amber Tamblyn still has the post on her Instagram, as you can see. But who knows? The thing is, Amber also has a connection to the New York Times. She's been writing for the New York Times. So I think for her to remove it, it will be a bigger statement also against the New York Times, I'm guessing. But I find it very interesting that America Ferrera no longer has this post public. As you could see from the post, the comments were removed. So no one can comment on it, which is what happens to everyone that supports Blake Lively publicly in any way on social media. Also last week, I saw everyone was reporting on this. I wasn't going to mention it because I thought, like, of course Joe Rogan is going to support Justin Baldoni in this drama. He was slamming Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in his podcast. He's got the biggest podcast, I think, in the US. So it means a lot when he comes out and says something. He basically said that they effed up, which I can completely agree with. He got headlines everywhere for saying that. Yeah, so now we know Joe Rogan is not supporting Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, which, I mean, he is a big celebrity and has a huge following. So, of course, that says a lot. And of course, it's not good for Blake or Ryan. So this weekend there was a big spread in the Daily Mail, in the newspaper actually as well, the printed version of Daily Mail, and online, and I am featured in it. They interviewed me. They asked me a lot of questions. I spoke to the reporter for like almost an hour, I think, and they quoted me a lot in here about my experience with Blake Lively, and they also added in a lot of other people's experience with Blake Lively. A lot of them talking about how Blake Lively was being rude and dismissive to them and how it has affected them personally and their careers as well. The article is titled, "Has Snarky Blake Sparked a Me Too Movement for Little People?" First I was like, little people? I was thinking about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but this has nothing to do with little people like that. It has to do with little people being people that are, like, in their world, not very important people, like me, for example, who is just a reporter. And I've said this so many times before, but I think the reason Blake Lively treated me the way she did was because, you know, in her eyes, I was just some random international journalist that she didn't care about. Because as I've shown a lot of times here on my channel, when she got the same questions that I asked her, she was so happy to talk about those things with other reporters from like bigger outlets and bigger TV shows here in the US. And Blake Lively's team has reacted to the article. They say the Daily Mail's continued attacks on Miss Lively only serve to assist in sending a very sad message to all women out there that if you speak up against SH, this is what you can expect to happen. This has nothing to do with SH. There's nothing mention of that in this article. And the fact that Blake Lively has been rude and cruel to people throughout her career, it's a fact. They didn't even deny that these things have happened. So I just like, every time someone attacks Blake Lively now, it's like, oh, it's just like people attacking her for accusing Justin Baldoni of SH. these other outlets keep pushing pro Blake Lively stories. I was also interviewed a couple of days ago by The Atlantic, who's working on a story. I don't know their angle here, but I am very suspicious that they're also going to do a pro Blake Lively. And I told the reporter that because she asked me a lot of questions about my YouTube channel and how I come up with titles for my videos and all these things, you know, about conservatives that are creating all this content around Blake Lively and how they're attacking her. I just feel like all these outlets now are doing pro Blake Lively, except Daily Mail maybe, and New York Post, and sometimes TMZ. But I had a feeling that she was going in that direction with her questions. And so at the end of the interview, she asked me, do you have anything to add that you want to ask? That you think you should get out there? I'm sure she's not going to put this in the article, but I said to her, I wonder where this support for people in power is coming from. The protection of rich and famous people with so much power. Why are the liberal traditional media supporting that so much? It doesn't make any sense to me. If they want to make it political, why would they choose to support the empowered people? She didn't come with any explanation or reply to me, but I said, for most of us who are being critical thinkers out here, we have seen the evidence, and we haven't seen any evidence from Blake Lively that supports her claims. And I'm sure she's going to cut that out from the actual article. I think it's coming out later this week, at some point next week. Anyways, I also saw there was an article in Vanity Fair, same thing. They also did a story saying why conservative media loves Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's showdown. And they're also pointing out the right-wing media truly milk the narrative. Just because Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly keeps talking about it, there's a lot of other people talking about this too. And they said that they truly milk this narrative, comparing it to Heard versus Depp. Megyn Kelly apparently said that Blake Lively made herself into Amber Heard. So this guy who wrote this article, that's actually written by a man, he says, and the conservative media did everything they could to help Blake Lively look like Amber Heard. I think Blake Lively did everything she could to look like Amber Heard. And the fact that these outlets are just pouring out this kind of content, that there's just there is no criticism here of Blake Lively. I just don't get it. There's another article in The Cut. They've also, I think it's not the same person who did this article that wrote about me, but there was another story in The Cut saying, when is Kjersti Flå going to stop talking about Blake Lively? That was a while ago, a few months ago now. And the same woman who wrote that article had written 6 articles about Blake Lively herself. So that's the thing with all this, pointing fingers at creators, talking about Blake Lively, and then all these people are doing the same thing by talking about the creators who are talking about Blake Lively. And this woman here, A.G. Dixon, she wrote this story called saying, why do these women inspire such rage? Nothing riles the internet up more than Meghan Markle and Blake Lively. I think right now, actually, Rachel Ziegler is raging up the internet just as much. But anyways, she wants to talk about the two of them. And she talks about how Meghan Markle's TV show was received so badly. And as we all know, she has a new show on Netflix. And she said that people decided to hate her before they even watched it. So on and so on. And about Blake Lively, and that, that there's so many creators out there talking badly about her. So at the end of this article, she says, why are so many convinced that these women are dishonest? And why are they so angry about it? I think people are angry. I don't think people are angry, though. I think people are just upset about, that some women can come forward and accuse a man of something and without having any evidence. And at first, a lot of people believe Blake Lively. And then they realize that they were fooled. And I think that's what makes people upset. Not that Blake Lively is accusing someone of something. If she had the evidence to prove it, people wouldn't be upset about it at all. They would support her. And then she says, it's because they simply find them irritating. Or are they just that susceptible? Or are they just that susceptible to social media smear campaigns? This is not a social media smear campaign. This is us being shown evidence from one side and not from the other side. And we are all critical thinkers here. It's not that we find them irritating. And then she continues, is it really so hard to believe that misogyny is so deeply ingrained in our culture that even beautiful, wealthy women can suffer from its effects? This is... Yeah, no. I mean, she's kind of doubling down on that article that was written in Glamour magazine when she was talking about that Stephanie O'Neill, or whatever her name was talking about how content creators weren't supporting other women. This has nothing to do with misogyny. We are all women. We don't like misogyny. Women don't like that. Why would we? It's not that we choose to support the man here. It's that we choose to not support a woman that we believe is lying because she has shown nothing else to us. There's no evidence there that shows that she's not being lying about these things. So as soon as she comes up with some real evidence, I think the narrative could change again. At the end of this article, she says, maybe they see something in Markle and Lively's stories that they don't want to see. Maybe it's easier to just not look. I don't understand what she means by that. Maybe we see something in their stories that we don't want to see. What would that be? That they're lying? What? I mean, the thing is with all these articles that are just like pushed right now to make Blake Lively look like this victim, they don't make any sense to me. And in this article as well, they're putting a parallel to the Blake Lively story and Amber Heard and how she was hated. But you know, the reason why we didn't believe Amber Heard was because she was lying in court, and she did actually lose in court as well. And you're saying that as women we should still believe her after she lost in court and after we saw her on the stand being caught in lying. I don't get it. Where do they want to go with this? Do they want a society that women can come out and say anything they want about a man and accuse a man of something without there being any truth to it, and we should all just believe it? What kind of society would that be? Anyway, someone sent me this Reddit thread that was quite interesting. Someone created a thread. It says the full list of 20 plus years of Blake Lively's bullying, abuse and manipulation. And there's a long list here with links to everything she's done. It's like bullying crew member, bullying crew, degrading crew, manipulation, assaulting co-star, director, co-star Penn Badgley, bullied and body shamed journalist Kjersti Flå. There's a long list here of all the things that she's been doing over the years. So yeah, I also was on the phone with someone today, a girl that was close to the production of the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie. And she told me as soon as the production started, she was told, quote, "Nice Pool is based on a horrible director that Blake hates." So that was known from the get-go, that people knew about that. And I think that the fact now that Ryan Reynolds doubled down on it in his motion to dismiss against Justin Baldoni, he basically admitted that the character was based on him. So, yeah, she said that they Will Smith themselves. We know what happened to Will Smith. I don't know if he's ever going to come back the way it was, but like she said, now who wants to hire Blake Lively for any project? It's too risky to have an actress that you can risk. If she doesn't get her will, she wants to take over your movie, and if you don't allow that to happen, she will sue you for SH. Okay, lastly, I wanted to address something that someone sent me an email asking me what I thought about the new Chelsea Handler stand-up show on Netflix. And it was interesting that she asked me that, because I tried to watch it and I couldn't get through it. And the thing is, I thought that Chelsea Handler was funny. I liked her, but I think she was too extreme in things. She's very exhibitionistic, and she gives me like the cringe sometimes. But this new stand-up show, it was, oh, the show is called The Feeling. And as far as I could watch from her show, it started off with her exploring her own body as an 11-year-old and starting to touch herself. And then she went to a sleepover at a friend's house where everyone was doing that. And the way she was describing it, and you're just like envisioning an 11-year-old girl doing that. I was like, this is not funny. This is just like so like, I don't know. I was shocked that Netflix actually did show this comedy special, because I don't know, it's creepy, and it's not funny at all. I don't know if you know anyone who's watched that show and actually laughed about it. As I said, I couldn't watch after she stopped talking about she was at a sleepover at a girlfriend's house and they were all just laying there touching themselves and thinking, oh my god, this is amazing. I don't know. I didn't think 11 years old did that. That's new to me because you're not even in puberty, but whatever suits you. But I just don't find it funny or entertaining. And yeah, no, 0 point to Chelsea Handler for that comedy special. Yeah, let me know if you disagree with me on that. If you think it's funny, I just don't think so. Anyway, that's it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Awesome Talk. And I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.